The toy in your dog's mouth may not be a gift at all. It may be the little emergency tool your dog reaches for when happiness becomes too big for the body to hold. There is a 6-year-old golden retriever named Bixby who does this every night at 7:18, almost to the minute. His owner, Mara, is an emergency room nurse who still counts pulses with 2 fingers when she is worried. Even when she is off duty, she comes home with her hair pulled loose from a 12-hour shift, her shoes making the same tired sound on the porch boards. And before the key has fully turned, Bixby is already awake on the other side of the door with one paw lifted, like his whole body is listening. The door opens, and Bixby does not simply walk toward her. He bursts. His hips fold into a curve, his tail swings so hard it knocks the umbrella stand, and his eyes dart around the hallway as if he has forgotten the one thing he came to do. Then he finds it. A faded blue dragon with one missing wing. He bites down, shoves it deep into his mouth, and comes toward Mara, making a soft, muffled sound through his nose. Most of us know this scene. Maybe your dog grabs a squeaky duck, or a sock, or the same old slipper they are technically not allowed to touch. Maybe they do the proud little parade, shoulders wiggling, eyes bright, tail sweeping the wall. And because we are human, we translate it in the most human way possible. You brought me a present, but watch closely the next time it happens. Many dogs do not actually want you to take the toy. The moment your hand reaches out, they clamp harder, turn their head, or press the object deeper into their mouth. They may dance in front of you, but they are not always asking for fetch. Sometimes, what looks like a game is a dog trying to hold themselves together. The first layer is what you can see. A dog grabs an object when you come home and carries it through the greeting like it is the most important thing in the room. The second layer is quieter. That object may give the dog's body somewhere to put the extra energy before it spills into jumping, barking, nipping, or frantic motion. The third layer is what you can do tonight. When your dog comes to the door with something in their mouth, do not reach for it right away. Let them keep it, and let the first 30 seconds belong to their body, not your interpretation. This matters because your return is not a small event to your dog. For a person, coming home may be the end of errands, work, traffic, messages, and a day full of people. For a dog, especially one who has been waiting in a quiet house, your return can be the main event around which the entire day has been built. That does not mean dogs think exactly like we do. It means their bodies can react to reunion with a force that surprises even them. Researchers have found that the bond between dogs and people is not just sentimental. In some studies, when dogs and their people look at each other, both bodies show a rise in the same bonding chemical rush a mother feels when she first holds her newborn. That does not make a dog a human child. It makes the bond real enough to leave fingerprints on the body. And this is where the hallway changes. That goofy moment, the wet toy, the sideways wiggle, the muffled little cry, may be happening because the dog is caught between 2 powerful needs. One need says, get close, greet, touch, celebrate, reconnect. The other says, slow down, breathe. Do not let the body tip over the edge. Think of the dog who hears your car before anyone else in the house does. They lift their head from the couch, then sit perfectly still, as if stillness could make the sound clearer. By the time you reach the door, their body has already begun the greeting without you. The tail starts before the latch clicks. The nervous system has left the station. Bixby does this too. Mara used to laugh and tug at the blue dragon, asking him to give her the baby so she could toss it down the hall. Bixby would brace his front feet and pull back, not angry, not guarding, but desperate in a way she did not understand yet. She thought he was saying, "Play with me." He may have been saying, "Please do not take away the one thing that helps me stay calm." The strange part is that the dog may not know any of this consciously. Bixby is not standing in the hallway making a medical plan. He is not thinking about nerves, breathing, heart rate, or emotional regulation. He is doing what bodies often do before thought has time to arrive. He is reaching for a pattern that has worked before. You do the same thing. You rub your forehead when the question is hard. You tap your foot when you are waiting for news. You check your phone when you are nervous, even when you know there is nothing new there. The body finds a small action and pours pressure into it. Dogs have their own versions. A dog might yawn when they are not tired, sniff the floor when there is nothing interesting there, lick their lips when no food is nearby, or scratch at their collar during a tense moment. These can be displacement behaviors, which is a simple way of saying the body chooses a side road when the main road is too crowded. The feeling is too much. So the body gives it a job. In a greeting, that job may be carrying. The dog rushes toward you, then suddenly veers away, scans the room, and grabs the nearest acceptable object. What it looks like is comedy. What may be happening underneath is a pressure valve opening just in time. What you can do is make that valve easier to find. Keep one safe, soft greeting toy near the door and let it be there before the explosion begins. This one small change can transform the whole ritual. Instead of a dog racing around in panic looking for a shoe, they learn that the hallway always holds a safe object they are allowed to grab. Instead of the owner chasing, scolding, or laughing in a way that adds more energy, the person becomes calm ground. The dog does not need more excitement at the moment of reunion. They need a landing place. There is a little black and white spaniel named June who lives above a bakery and does something similar every afternoon. Her owner comes in smelling like flour and warm sugar, and June always grabs the same dish towel from the bottom shelf. If the towel is gone, she spins in 2 tight circles, barks once, and only then goes looking for something else. It looks like mischief until you notice how much calmer she becomes once her mouth is full. That is the first great reframe. The toy may not be for you. It may be for the dog. And the most loving thing you can do is stop making yourself the center of that object for just a moment. But the object may be doing more than giving the jaw a job. It may be changing the dog's breath. That is where the story leaves the hallway and enters the body. And once you follow the breath, the whole doorway becomes even stranger. When a dog becomes intensely excited, the body often flips into its alarm mode. The heart speeds up, muscles tighten, the breath gets fast. The dog may pant, whine, leap, spin, or slam their body into you with the force of a creature who has no small feelings available in that moment. This is not always fear. Joy can push the same buttons. The body does not always care whether the trigger is danger or delight. It only knows that something huge has happened, and it starts preparing for action. That is why some dogs greet like they are being chased by their own happiness. They do not just wag, they vibrate. They do not just bark, they make sounds that seem to come from somewhere behind the ribs. The whole animal becomes a struck bell. Here is the first layer of the panting dog at the door. You see an open mouth, a lolling tongue, fast breaths, maybe paws skidding on the floor as the dog tries to get close and cannot quite slow down. The hidden truth is that fast mouth breathing can keep the body in that high-speed state, because quick, shallow breaths tell the brain, stay ready, stay alert, keep going. The action is simple. Lower the energy in the room before you touch the dog. Put your bag down slowly. Turn your shoulders slightly instead of facing them head-on, and speak in a low voice that does not add fuel. Now add the toy. A bulky toy changes the shape of the greeting. When the mouth is filled with a soft object, the dog has less room to pant. The breath has to move more through the nose. That shift matters. The nose is not just a place where smells enter. It is a winding, sensitive passage full of folded tissue and tiny sensors that respond to pressure, touch, temperature, and airflow. When air moves through those passages instead of rushing in and out of the mouth, it meets resistance. The breath naturally slows. The body receives a different message. You know a version of this in your own body. When someone tells you to take a slow breath through your nose, it is not because the nose is magical in a fairy tale way. It is because a slow, resisted breath can help the heart and brain stop behaving as if the emergency is still happening. The body reads the breath as evidence. For a dog with a toy in their mouth, something similar may be happening. The object does not need to be a medical device to matter. It only needs to shift the dog from frantic open-mouth breathing towards slower nasal breathing, even for a few seconds. A few seconds can be enough for the body to find the first step down. This is why the size of the object is interesting. Many dogs do not choose the smallest thing in the room. They choose the stuffed animal that fills the mouth, the folded blanket, the old shoe, the huge rope toy, the thing that makes them look ridiculous. The comedy may be part of the clue. Bixby will ignore a tennis ball when Mara comes home. He wants the dragon. It is too large, soft at the edges, and awkward enough that he has to hold his jaw in a steady grip. With the dragon in his mouth, his breathing changes. The wild pant becomes a snuffling, nasal rhythm, broken by those tiny muffled cries that Mara used to call his happy engine. The first layer is the big object. It looks silly, like your dog has made a dramatic costume choice for the evening parade. The hidden truth is that a larger object may help block the mouth just enough to slow breathing and give the body a firmer physical anchor. The action is to choose safety over neatness. Leave out one sturdy, soft, non-swallowable item your dog is allowed to carry during greetings. And put away things that could splinter, choke, or turn the ritual into trouble. This is not the same for every dog. Some dogs bring toys because they have learned it gets attention. Some are inviting play. Some are natural retrievers using a behavior bred into their bones. Some are anxious and need help from a trainer or veterinarian, especially if the greeting includes biting, panic, collapse, or distress that does not settle. But for many dogs, these meanings can overlap. A behavior can be learned joyful, social, and self-soothing at the same time. A dog can be excited to see you and still need help handling that excitement. Love does not make the body automatically calm. There is a Labrador named Otis whose owner once tried to stop the toy greeting because visitors thought it was messy. The toys were put in a basket behind a closed door. After that, Otis began jumping higher, barking harder, and grabbing sleeves with his front teeth. When the toys came back, the jumping dropped. The greeting was still full of joy, but it had shape again. That is the word to remember. Shape. A toy can give shape to a feeling that would otherwise scatter in every direction. It tells the mouth what to do, gives the feet a reason to circle, and gives the brain one job instead of 20. And then, deep inside the body, the slower breath may begin pulling a hidden brake. There is a nerve that runs from the brainstem down into the chest and belly, like a quiet communication line between the mind and the organs. Many people know it as the vagus nerve. It helps the body shift out of alarm mode and back toward rest. When it is doing its job well, the heart does not have to keep racing just because the feeling arrived loudly. One way the body can nudge that system is through breath. Slow breathing, especially with longer exhales, can help the calming side of the nervous system come forward. This is why people hum when they are scared, sigh when they are overwhelmed, or breathe slowly when panic rises. The body has old doorways back to safety. Dogs have body doorways too. When air moves through the nose, the sensitive nerves in the face and nasal passages send signals back toward the brainstem. Scientists study versions of this in many mammals, and the details are complex. But the plain version is this: the face, the nose, the breath, and the heart are more connected than they look. So when a dog grabs a soft toy, closes the mouth around it, breathes through the nose, and makes a muffled sound on the exhale, the behavior may be doing several things at once. It may give the mouth a job. It may slow the breath. It may help the heart come down. It may turn wild reunion into something the body can survive with less chaos. Notice the word may. That word matters. We should not pretend that every dog with a toy is activating one neat scientific switch, because real animals are not that tidy. But we also should not dismiss the pattern as random cuteness. The body often knows useful things before language does. The first layer is the muffled whine. You hear a high, nasal, almost singing sound coming from behind the toy, and it makes the whole greeting feel even more emotional. The hidden truth is that vocalizing can lengthen the outbreath, and a longer outbreath is one of the body's oldest signals for settling. The action is to stop shushing the sound immediately unless it is escalating into distress. Instead, soften your own exhale. Slow your hands, and let the sound pass through the first wave. This is where human interference can cause more trouble than we mean to. When you pull the toy from your dog's mouth, you may open the mouth, restart panting, add a tugging game, and raise the emotional temperature at the exact moment the dog is trying to bring it down. Your dog may clamp harder, not because they are stubborn, but because their body has learned that holding on helps. Your hand may feel playful. Their body may feel robbed. The better response is quiet and specific. Come in. Set your things down. If your dog has the toy, admire them without taking it. Bend your knees or sit sideways if they can handle closeness without jumping. Then offer slow strokes along the side of the neck, the chest, or the shoulders. Not fast pats on the head. If your dog tends to jump, the action changes. Do not push them down with both hands, because pushing can feel like more wrestling. Instead, turn slightly, keep your arms calm, wait for 4 paws to touch the floor, and then give attention low and slow. If they grab the toy during that moment, let the toy become part of the reset. If your dog cannot settle after several minutes, or if the greeting includes biting hard enough to hurt, frantic pacing, urination from distress, or panic when they cannot find an object, treat that as information. Do not shame the dog. Do not call it drama. Ask for help from a qualified professional who understands behavior and can rule out pain, fear, and separation-related distress. Mara had to learn this the hard way. One evening, after a shift where she had listened to monitors beep for 12 hours, she opened the door and reached automatically for Bixby's blue dragon. He pulled back, eyes wide, body low, tail still moving, but not freely. For the first time, she saw that his joy had an edge of desperation in it. So she stopped. She sat down on the floor in her scrubs, back against the wall, and let him keep the dragon. Bixby paced once, twice, then pressed his shoulder against her knee with the toy still filling his mouth. Mara put 2 fingers against the side of his neck, not to count this time, just to feel him come back to himself. That is what the greeting is really asking from us. Not performance, not louder excitement, not a game before the dog can breathe. Just enough patience to let a body finish arriving. Because a dog does not experience reunion only in the heart, the way we like to say it, they experience it in the mouth, the lungs, the paws, the ears, the stomach, the chest, the old pathways that turn feeling into motion. By the time you say hello, their body has already said it 100 times. That is why the first minute matters so much. There is a small ceremony you can try today. Before you open the door, decide that the first minute will be calm. When you step inside, let your dog carry what they carry. Speak once, softly. Then wait long enough to notice the moment their breathing changes. It may be subtle. The tail slows from a blur to a sweep. The shoulders drop. The eyes soften. The toy loosens in the mouth. Not because the greeting is ended, but because the body no longer needs to hold on quite so hard. That is the moment most people miss. They see the toy as the beginning of play, but it may be the bridge between overwhelm and peace. And if you learn to see that bridge, you will never watch the wiggling parade the same way again. The science punchline is simple. The ridiculous object in your dog's mouth may be part of a whole body calming ritual. Not just a toy, not just a habit, a soft, slobbery, deeply practical tool that gives the mouth, breath, and nervous system something to do when reunion arrives too fast. And the human translation is even simpler. Your dog may be loving you at a speed their body has to manage. They are not being dramatic. They are not being rude. They are trying in the only way available to them to turn the thunder of your return into something they can safely hold. We do not fully understand every piece of this yet. Scientists are still asking how breathing, facial nerves, heart rhythm, learned behavior, and social bonding fit together in dogs during moments like this. But maybe that is part of the wonder. The ordinary hallway still has mysteries left in it. Tonight, Bixby's blue dragon is damp at the seams and missing more stuffing than it should be. Mara does not take it anymore. The hallway stays quiet around them. She opens the door, sits on the second stair, and lets him circle her once with that muffled little sound in his nose, until the wiggling slows and his shoulder leans into her leg. Look at your own dog the next time you come home. Notice what they grab, how they breathe, whether the sound changes when their mouth is full, and how long it takes their body to soften. Then, tell us in the comments what their greeting object is, because those strange little rituals are not just cute stories. They are evidence of a private language most of us are only beginning to learn. If this changed the way you see that messy, joyful doorway moment, subscribe and join the people who want to understand dogs at this depth. Not because it makes the love smaller, but because it makes the love more honest. And in the next video, we are going to look at another behavior owners laugh at every day, until they learn what the dog may be doing when they